Welcome, good evening. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight at our Team All In business training. I'm excited to share this video with you. Simon joined us on Friday live for the Wisdom Builder weekly Friday training. And I've actually been on some of Simon's trainings online. And I have to say that, am I coming through okay?
Yes.
Just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. It says my internet is unstable, so I just want to make sure that that's not really happening. I have to say that he is an incredible person, and he's fun to listen to and to learn. And I think we're all going to walk away with some nuggets that's going to really help us in our growth in our business journey. So let's give a listen to Simon.
With that, I have the privilege and the honor to get to introduce to you someone that many of you already know. Some of you probably don't, that are newer to our team. But Simon Chan has become a dear, dear friend of mine and Nicole's over the last, I don't know how many years now. Simon, quite a few, I guess, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't even know. But Simon is actually, let me just read you his bio. Simon is a consistency coach. Okay. He's a speaker. He is the author of one of my new favorite books called The Consistency Pill. I know many of you have purchased it, have read it. If you haven't, it's very much worth the read. And I'm not saying that just because Simon's on the show today or on the call today. I guess I'm not doing a podcast, am I? It's not a show. But anyway, it's The Consistency Pill. Subtitle is The 7-Step System to Increase Sales and Transform Your Business. He helps network marketers like us earn part-time incomes of at least $1,000 a month by getting them to be consistent. Very important, right? Defeat overwhelm. How many can use some help with that? And build a successful business online. Simon is best known as the host of MLM Nation podcast. It's the #1 network marketing podcast that features in-depth interviews of over 700 top income earners. Simon started in network marketing in 2003 as a promoter himself, and he built $1 million business with over, get this, 200,000 distributors, we call them promoters, by pioneering online duplication. He retired from building in 2013, I should say, to be a full-time trainer and founded the MLM Nation podcast. With that, Simon, I am pumped, fired up, excited to have you on here sharing with us about online strategies and helping to better close prospects on social media. So Simon, take it away, brother.
All right. Hey, thank you, Alan. It's an honor to be here. Let me know, everyone, where you all dialing in from. I'm out in Los Angeles. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I'm a shy, quiet kid from Brooklyn, New York. I speak fast, so I do my best to slow down, especially when I'm talking about this amazing profession. And as Alan's a dear good friend of mine, it's almost been 10 years. I think we had you on the 2nd year of the show, Alan. So believe it or not, it's over 9 years because, you were supposed to be in Australia back in 2016 at my event, one of the speakers. I remember, so it was at least 9 years. But it's great to see everyone here from different parts. By the way, you have an amazing leader. You have all these great events. Yeah, Alan didn't ask me to say this, but you have to go to events, right? You have to go to events because one of the things is in this profession, some of you have been here for a long time. Some of you have maybe been here it's just pretty new, but you have to go to events because there's a good saying, where are you going to be 5 years from now? And before I'm going to share my story, but where are you going to be 5 years from now is determined by 3 things. It's determined by your personal development, right? So it's the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the trainings you go to. And number 2 is the people you meet. And number 3 is the places you travel to. So where are you going to be 5 years from now? So 5 years from now, in 2029, your future is determined by 3 things: your personal development, the people you meet, and the places you travel to, right? And the why that is when you do personal development, it expands your mind. When you meet different people, it is not just for meeting prospects. Yes, it can lead you to different prospects, different promoters, but also expands our mind, right? It gives us ideas. Like I learned a lot, I learned a lot from Alan, just watching Alan and Nicole, how they grow their business, right? So you get the people you meet, and then the places you travel to. Why the places you travel to? Number one, expand your horizon. But if you haven't been to a different country, traveled, you know what I'm talking about, right? Totally. Even when I was born and raised in New York City, the first time, I know you guys were doing a retreat in Alabama, I went to Montgomery, Alabama. I felt that I grew, again, like 10 years of knowledge and wisdom. Because a big city boy like me from New York, LA, never knew about how things were like in Alabama, right? And then that allowed me to relate to people better. That allowed me to be a better leader. It also expanded my vision of what I wanted to do. So make sure to attend the events, really, really important. And to be successful in this profession, you have to go to the events. So I'll share, one of the reasons I talk about that is I struggled for months, okay? So take you back to 21 years ago. I've been doing this for 21 years. I got started and I struggled for months and months. No one actually recruited me. I'll give you a shortcut to the story. No one recruited me. I actually decided I was sick of my job. I wanted to do something else. This was an amazing profession. And I went to Google, found a company, Googled, and on the web, a random website came up. And I asked the guy, how do I sign up? And that's how I got started. And so, by the way, I still remember the guy called me and I was going to my small group on the Thursday night, and he talked to me for 45 minutes, and he asked me, are you ready to get going? Are you ready to be a promoter? And I was like, well, I need to think about it. He called me back tomorrow, right? So he calls me back tomorrow, and he said, did you think about it? And at that time, and Alan doesn't even know the story, I was shopping in Camarillo in California. And I remember he called me around 5 o'clock. And at that time, and for a long time, I was embarrassed to share the story because at that time I wanted to do multiple streams of income, right? Diversify. I was going to do network marketing. I was going to do like real estate. I was going to also do info marketing, and I was going to be a model, right? I'm good looking. I'm a great body. I'm going to be a model. And so a lot of time I was like, I didn't never share that, but I want to be a model, and I was getting shopping to get clothes for a photo shoot for my stag card, right? And so the guy calls me up, and I'm middle of just finishing shopping, and I was going to buy these muscle tees, and I was going to flex and stuff. So again, are you ready to get started? I was like, no. Did you think about it? And guess what? Let me ask you, did you think I went home and think about it that day? I didn't think about it. So I'll share something with you. When people tell you they have to think about it, very rarely do they think about it. Right. So one mistake a lot of people do is they give more information. Thinking more information, more videos, more PDFs will convince them. No, it actually loses the sale because it overwhelms them. Right. What people are buying. And then what happens, I told the guy, I can't right now. Call me back in 2 hours. So I went back home. He called me back exactly around 2 hours. Said, Simon, are you ready to get started? Now, he didn't ask me, do you have any other questions? He didn't ask me, did you look at info? He asked me, are you ready to get started? And I was like, sure. So what package do you want to go with? I was like, I'll go with the top package, right? It was like a $1,400 package. I gave him my Amex, he charged it, and that's how I got going. Right now, so there's a couple lessons about closing is sometimes we feel that we have to give all this info. No, what people are really buying, why I joined him is confidence. People are joining your confidence, your consistency, how you show up. Right? Some people say, I got to know the magic script, whatever. You can say whatever. You can say the perfect words, but if you don't have confidence, if you're not showing up in your business every day and showing up on social media, you're not going to get the sale. Well, what that one guy did was he was confident. He didn't say, well, Simon, do you need another 5 extra week to get going? He said, Simon, can I get you going? Very bold. People like bold. Think about it. Because we all as human beings, we like to follow people. We all follow. It doesn't matter what type of level of success, right? There's certain celebrities or actors or athletes I follow. There's certain people Alan follows. There's certain baseball players I follow. We all like to follow. And one thing about the people we follow, They all have courage and they all have bold. They show up. So if you want people to follow you, be part of what you, amazing, right? With your team, your business, you got to show up. You got to show up consistently, and you have to have courage and be bold. You can say sometimes a lot of the wrong things, but if you show up and talk about prospecting is timing, right? Sometimes you have to understand, it doesn't matter what you say, how you show up, people are not going to join because the timing's not right. Now, for me, when he called me while I was driving that day, well, on my way to small group, I didn't get started because there's some people, they just don't want to get sold right away. I don't want to get sold right away. I said, call me back tomorrow, right? That doesn't mean I'm not interested. You have to follow up. And another thing about closing is when he called me, and I learned a lot from that phone as over the years, I thought back, he was really good, is that most people, and if you're stuck, right, prospecting, recruiting, is because you're prospecting from the past or from the present. I mean, what I mean by that, I called 3 friends and they all said no. So when I reach out to someone, well, because the last 3 people say no, chances are this person is not going to be that interested either. You see how I'm prospecting from the past? And when I'm prospecting from the past, do I show up? Will you show up with energy? You're not going to show up with energy, right? You may not even show up at all. Why reach out to the person when it's going to be negative? So you always have to assume positive. Second thing is you're prospecting in the present. But right now, I'm new. I don't really know what I'm doing. So you're prospecting like that, and you're not showing up confident because of that attitude, then you're not going to have that confidence, right? You got to prospect in the future. And that's what I talk about. What are we selling, by the way? Everyone just jot down a couple of things. What are you selling? So assuming you want people to be a promoter, what are you selling? Now let's see. Let's get there's no wrong answers. Okay, we have a couple. Impact, hope, healthy lifestyle, value for them, pharmaceutical grade, whole food supplements, us, growth. Okay, so all these answers are correct, but if you're going to choose one word, and I think this is what holds, if you want to build a team, this is what holds most promoters back, is we sell dreams. We're in the dream. You are all in the dream selling business. You're on this call on a Friday morning. I'm sure you're busy. There's other things to do, but you're on this call right now on Wisdom Weekly because you feel this is going to help you achieve your dream. So I'm sorry to say there's no other reason why you're on this call, right? It's not because you want better health. You're on this call. You're on this call because you want to achieve a dream. You're selling with hope. Right? Your company, New Life gives you hope. There's no other reason why. So when you want to build a team, you want to get new promoters, where you have to understand we're in the dream selling business. And even healthy lifestyle, that's a dream too. When you're selling the products, you're also selling dreams. The dream of health. Maybe someone is struggling with their health. Right? They take the product. They're like, I know Alan's incredible story. They had a dream. I want to be healthier. I want to feel better. When you're selling products, you're also selling dreams. But how do I know your dream is a fake or your dream is a lie? The dream is real because of your confidence and how you show up. If you're not showing up every day with confidence, with courage, then I'm like, I don't know if that dream is, I don't know if your dream is real or not. Right? And that's what a leader, right? This is the leader's cause. When we're selling this dream and the vision that it's happened already. You got to prospect in the future. And every successful leader knows that. But you're not selling, I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing, or I haven't had success yet. I'm hoping this will change. No, if you're like that, then why would someone buy your dream? So it starts off when the second you approach someone, you got to approach it with confidence. Now, you say, well, I'm not haven't had much success yet, but that doesn't matter because number one, it's not about you. Maybe you haven't achieved the dream yet, but Alan don't achieve the dream. Other people have achieved the dream. And also it's about faith, that your faith and belief that you're going to achieve that dream. And every entrepreneur is like that. I'll give you an example. We all know Elon Musk, right? He has a certain dream about, just talk about SpaceX, sending people to space, right? With his rockets. He has a faith and vision that's going to happen, even though it hasn't happened yet. He wanted to talk about colonizing Mars. It hasn't happened yet, but if you ask him, he'd be very, very confident to sell you that it will happen. You got to sell it that it will happen before it happens. And I know, a lot of you people have faith. Now you got to not fake it, but faith it till you make it. So once you understand that, you got to show up every single day. Like you made it already. And believing that and that's why going back to the events, right? Where are you going to be 5 years from now is determined by your personal development, the people you meet, and the events. Because when you feed yourself positivity, now you say, well, Simon, I may be down. That's normal. Everyone's going to be down. Everyone's going to be down. But that's why when you do your personal development, you get a little fired up. When you're on the Wisdom Weekly call, you get fired up. When you're at the Elite Summit, you get fired up, right? The people you meet. Now, if you're hanging out with people that are negative, like, oh, come on, these things don't work. These things don't work. You know what? You can tell them, you're right, they don't work. They don't work for people like you. Oh, people didn't make any money. If you're spending time with, or they're just happy, I'm just going to work my job. I like my job. It's just good to hear. And they're very small dreams. Yeah, of course, you're not going to make it because they're going to distract you. Every person that you meet, everything that inputs in your brain, the things that you read, the things that you see are either going to help you take you to your goals or take you away from your goals. And that's why the people you meet is very important. The places you travel to, the events you go to, right? Because when you go to the event, when you go to the summit, when you go to the retreat, it builds your belief. So I'm going to just go back to my story. I struggled. I got started. No one recruited me. I knew this was going to be it. I got started, right? And I struggled for months. Nothing. And my turning point, I'll share a couple of turning points. My first turning point was someone helped me become consistent. Treat your business like a job. Alan has these list of income producing activities. They're the worst part of our business is that the best part is we got to be our own boss. The worst part is you also have to be your own employee. You got to show up every day. Like it's a job. Now you don't need to show up for 8 hours, but you do need to work on certain things every single day, reach outs. And then we all need accountability. This is me. My mentor forced me to hold me accountable every single day. I don't know if some of you remember those monitors like that. I've been building online. I don't think, so I'm shy, quiet Asian kid, right? I moved to Los Angeles. I didn't have many contacts. So I started building online. I've been doing it for 20 years. I don't think those monitors were, Alan was even born when those things were around. So those are really old school. So I started building online, and you don't need to be good, but consistency creates mastery. Eventually built a team like I was at $200,000, was the number one fastest growing distributor. And then you know what? In network marketing, you need to duplicate, right? You may have heard about duplication. So it was my wife and I, it was two of us, and we duplicated. We became 5 of us. And you can tell really good duplication because my oldest son looks exactly like me, and my youngest one looks exactly like my wife. And the oldest one is actually the white fluffy one. He's like the weird promoter that we can't figure out. So, but I remember a few years back, my wife is making breakfast, and I'm rushing to get the 2 kids to brush their teeth, floss, and like I'm holding the youngest one in my arms, and like this is crazy, right? But if you're hectic, I get it. I understand how you feel because I've been there. But you don't need much time to build a successful business. But you do need to stay consistent on working on those income producing activities a little bit each day, right? My boys are a lot older now. They're 12, 10, and 8. It's a good thing it was in the morning because it was in the evening we did this call. You hear loud yelling and screaming in the background. Okay, my house is a zoo. But this is one of my happiest moments is like, And if you want, you can message me directly. I grew up in an upper middle class family. My dad was, I was always the richest kid in the public school. We all had money. My dad was basically rags to riches. Grew up poor in Hong Kong, came here, became a successful doctor, a general surgeon, and made a ton of money. But he never had time for me. I always wanted to go to Yankee games, watch the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, and never could. Because he was always busy at the hospital, at the clinic. So that was actually one of my motivations. I chose this business, not necessarily for order. My dream wasn't to make millions, was just to have time with my kids. And this was a great picture, like middle of the day, 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Most dads are working, and we're going to baseball practice. All right. So, and like Alan shared, I've been a full-time trainer since 2013. So, but I shared the turning points. Well, first turning point was being consistent. My second turning point was going in San Diego in 2004. It was at an event, and my mentor said, you better go to this event. And now for that event, I didn't even need to fly. I could just drive. But I had to buy like a $150 ticket, and I couldn't afford to buy the ticket. I wasn't making enough money. So here's the thinking. If I made more money, then I'll go. That's the wrong thinking. If you're not making money, then you definitely need to go even more. And that event changed. Talk about closing. Changed, because when you're closing, it's really about how to show up confidence, about your belief. Now, I don't remember anything about that event, but I'll just remember one thing. Anything that I was learning and stuff, sometimes when you go to the summit, you say, well, I can learn online, I can learn on the Zoom. It's not about the learning. It's about the catching the fire, right? It's like, you know what? Like Alan and I can talk on Zoom. That's cool. But me and Alan hang out together in person. That's totally different. Me and Alan playing catch. That's totally different. It's the face to face. And so I remember that event. My mentor said, if you don't go, I'll never work with you again. So I was like, well, but my mentor, he's a military guy, Army captain. He's like, all right. So I went. And I still remember that day. It was brutal because I broke up with my ex-girlfriend. I slept 90 minutes. And I also, I was like, oh my God, why did I do this? I promised to take 2 of my promoters there, my downlines. That's the one way to make sure they show up. So I'll give you a ride, right? And so I went to pick them up 90 minutes. I was like, why did I decide to do this? I could stop an extra 2 hours, but I picked them. I didn't even need to go, but I had to go early to pick them up and went there. And once we went there, they don't even know, but once I checked in, I got to say hi to a couple of leaders. I went back down to the parking lot at the San Diego Convention Center and took like a 3-hour nap. And to this day, I don't remember anything on that stage, okay, what I saw. But I do remember 2 things. Number one was someone that I looked up to was like earning like Alan's income, right? I looked at him. His name was Dan, and he had a stack of papers. I was like, what are those? And he's holding the papers on his phone. Like, what are those? It's a Friday. And those were all his contacts. Simon, it's Friday. Commission check week. I got to finish. And, we always talk about, like, if you want to be a leader, you got to set the example. And Dan talked all about being consistent, working the business. I heard that so many times, but I saw actually him in action doing it. This guy at that time was earning multiple 6 figures, but on Friday, he was prospecting in the hallway. I'll never forget that. 20 years later, I still remember that. Second thing is, during dinner, we had a dinner, and it was at this steakhouse. I don't eat red meat anymore. Back then, it was a steakhouse. I was having a great time. I was talking to this woman, Lynn. She asked me, Simon, what do you like to do for fun? And I said, I like to, sports and stuff. And then, what do you like to do for fun? And that time I was earning like $100 a month, okay? And she said, well, I like to ride horses. Ride horses? I was like, yeah. I was like, well, wait, what horses? Oh, we have a couple horses and we're stables, and I like to ride with my son and daughter. Now, let me ask you this, okay? What type of people own horses? Rich people or poor people? Right? And I was like, it was blowing me away. I was like, wait a second, why are you doing network marketing? Then I found out she had a successful insurance business that she sold for 7 figures. She made money already. She was a millionaire already, but she was in the 40s, had something to do. She said, well, she didn't tell me her age, but I could tell she was pretty young. Well, I still want to do something, but I want to work smart and I want to have residual income. Residual income meaning you earn once, you work once, you get paid over and over again. And I was like, wow. I'm telling you, 20 years later, I still remember that because before that event, before meeting her, I thought network marketing was for poor and broke people like me. I was like, people are desperate. And now I've met someone that's a millionaire already doing network marketing. Oh my goodness. Like, I can't believe how professional people who are financially successful still doing it. Let me ask you, what do you think of my belief level? She went off the roof, right? So that week, I made immediately after that, I made my first $1,000 week. Some $1,000 in the check because my belief was off the level. Before then, number one, I didn't have the work habits. I saw Dan still calling leads, setting the example. Oh, that's what you do. Even on a Friday, instead of relaxing, you're calling leads. And then I was like, wow, when I talk to people, like, does this work? I was like, millionaires do this. Before I had to feel, oh yes, it's a great profession, but I'm poor and broke. But no, millionaires do this business. And so I'm sharing with you, when you're closing with passion, with courage, right? This is saying, enthusiasm on fire is better than knowledge on ice. You can know everything, but you're not excited. No one's going to join you. No one wants to be part of your team. They may try your product, but no one wants to do it. But if you have enthusiasm, you can go a long way. And for me, that enthusiasm came from the events. The last thing I want to share with you about closing, right, is the concept of the pre-close. When you reach out to someone, people basically have made a decision whether they're going to buy or join already before you even utter a word. Why? It's how you show up. I kind of hinted that already, right? If you're not showing up every day, let's think about this. We all have someone that we follow, right? So think of someone you follow, whether it's Allen and Nicole, or whether it's LeBron James is not even in the playoffs now, or some athlete, or Lionel Messi, or, whoever athlete, somebody you follow, like Aaron Judge, for me, Shohei Ohtani, I follow, right? Or actor, actress, or The Rock, wherever, we all follow someone. You know a lot about that person. Would you agree? How many one of you agree? Right? And generally, the more you know about them, that increases the trust of that person.
You guys hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Or if the more you know about it, you may not like that person.
You can hear me okay?
Can hear you, but can't hear him.
Simon now?
You can hear you, not him.
I'm not sure.
Can
Yeah.
hear you, but not him.
You, not him, yeah. Yep, it's gone.
Then there's no trust. And people like to follow. They should know. You got to show your face. Think about the people you follow. You know a lot about them. Think about one or two people in your life that you trust. You also know a lot about them. Right? You definitely know how they look like. You know how many kids they have, family. And when you're in this age in social media, whether it's your home market or someone that's a war market, one of your friends, you know a lot about them. You know how they look like. They know your kids. So if you're reaching out to, and that's why you trust them. Right? People you know and trust, you know them. So if people click on your profile and feel that they don't know you, they're not going to trust you. If you have a profile where you don't show your face, yeah, I know taking selfies can be very uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for me. Alan, when I first met him, wasn't really active on social media. He's like a social media expert now, right? That's why does Alan do his podcast? He's getting people to know him, right? So on social media, it's not about talking about your products. It's letting people get to know who you are. And the more they feel they know you, they will trust you. Now, you may say, well, I can't put my profile public up there. Well, that means you're not trusting people. If you're not trusting someone, then why would someone trust you to give you money to be a promoter or buy your product, right? So the closing is I'll give you summarized in 3 steps. It's like, number 1, you got to show up every day on social media. I don't know if you know this. Before we started, I took a selfie of when Alan was introducing me. Because I want people who follow me to know that, hey, I'm speaking on the leaders call. One of the best leaders in the profession. I'm honored to be on this call. So that my followers get to know what I am doing. Right? I posted a video of my youngest son, baseball. Because baseball is a big part of my life. I want people to know that. Because believe it or not, it's the small little things like the baseball, my dog. Those are the things that builds the connections. Because the more people know you, they will like you and they will trust you. And then, so that's what starts off. Second thing is belief. You got to work on your belief. You got to go to events. You may say, well, how does events help you closing? Because you're catching the motion fire. I'm telling you, hang out half a day with Alan, you'd be on fire. Now, last for a long. Now, it doesn't last forever. As good as Alan is, it's not going to last forever. It'll last for maybe 2 or 3 months, and then you have to go to the next event. And then last thing, you got to close with confidence. And don't forget, you are selling dreams. Whether it's with the products or the business, you are selling dreams. So last thing I want to share, I'll give it back to Alan. I know we're a little bit over on time. Connect me on social media. If you're ever struggling with recruiting online, I actually went out and put a playbook. I don't know if you can see this playbook with all these scripts and things you can do and help your social media examples. I don't know if you can see because of the screen here. There's like 20 pages, examples. It's free. Reach out to me on social media, on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll send it to you. All right, and if you have other questions, I know Gabe, you reached out to me. Let me serve you. That's one of my goals for this year, to how to serve you all more and on an individual basis. So, Courtney, I appreciate you. Thank you. And by the way, you say you're a master of my craft. Every master was a disaster. My first training call, I'll end with the story, okay? My first training call, because it's not about where you are, it's where you're going. And having that growth mindset. You may be terrible, but it doesn't matter. You can get there. And my first training call I had a team of 14 people, and only 4 people showed up. And I was so disappointed. I was like, this is my debut. How dare people, only 4 people showed up. And it was a 30-minute call, and like today, but instead of going over by 8 minutes, I was like, blah, 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 and I finished in 17 minutes. I said, any questions? And there was silence. I was like, oh, I'm so good. They all got it. And then one of the 4 people, his name was Anthony, who I went to college with, he said, Simon, you spoke so fast, no one understood what the heck you're talking about. So hopefully today, I went 8 minutes over. You all knew what I was talking about.
So, did you learn something tonight? Let me just.
Always.
I know. It reminds me of the challenges I had even, and how horrible I was. Even though I was like growing and I was sharing, I wasn't very good at it. And it reminds me of when Simon says they buy you, they trust you. And I think my family just started because they trusted me. It's not because I was good. I didn't know what I was saying. I didn't understand the product. It was, anyways, it's so good, but it does have to come from here, right? It's the enthusiasm. It's the excitement. It's, and I've been listening to that podcast, Heather. Oh my goodness, which one was it? The one with the neuroscientists as well. And yeah, like you have to really, there's so many things that we can be doing so that more people are attracted to what we're doing. So it's all about personal growth, all about personal development. I actually, as soon as he shared his book, I right away downloaded it on my Audible. So I'm going to be listening to that. So there's always something you can be doing to get better, right? Anybody else have a nugget? Any nuggets from tonight?
Confidence.
Too many.
Confidence, speaking up and being confident. I love how he said, faith it till you make it. The other way that was said was actually something that bothered me when I used to hear people say that. And when I heard him say faith it, I've changed, like I've put it up on my board, have faith in yourself, have a clear direction, be confident, growth mindset. Things don't happen overnight, because there are times, actually, you ladies really do give me confidence. Actually, I show up to these meetings because the energy and the confidence from you ladies is contagious, and it's keeping me, it's keeping my faith. It's keeping the faith for sure. I'm brainstorming. Like I know I can't believe I don't have anyone signed up. Actually, someone called me as we were on the call, and I'm like, do you want to come on a call at 8 o'clock as that was on? Because I just want to like put the fire under me and really get going. Like the confidence is building. I feel it already. I could see, like, I don't need to see this yet. It's a bookmark. But yeah, he said some great things, that the confidence, the faith it, the showing up, connect with someone every day. It's your business. Show up, not just as an employer, but an employee. I like that.
Yeah. Tracy, I can see you being one of our big trainers coming up pretty darn soon.
I think I might have actually put that in there.
And I love that, we can be so open and honest. And I know it's a matter of time for you to start getting your people, right? And building that tribe. And you're right, you're building that confidence. I've seen such a difference in you since you've been joining our events, right? What Simon said, right? Events, got to come to the events. It's not going to happen if you don't show up, right? And I never missed an event. I went to every event, even though I was working 10-hour days, quarter of my days off. I remember begging my supervisor to leave early from work to go to a meeting. And if he wouldn't give me time off, I would book off sick. Because I knew what I wanted. I knew that I wanted more. And I knew my upline, Al, always said to me, if you want to make this work, you need to come to the meetings, as many. And he understood. He never said, oh, book off sick. He says, just come to as many meetings as you can. And I never missed an event.
When's the next event? Who's having an event?
8 o'clock tonight. And then 8 o'clock Thursday. And then, yes, we've got a few things happening. But Tracy, you got to book one. I'll come and do one for you. Anybody? Yeah. Anybody else? Joan, I know you really enjoyed the session because you're the one that said we got to listen to it again tonight.
Tracy said most of the stuff, but one of the things, like, don't prejudge. He thought network marketing was for poor people, and
Yeah.
from people who are.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one.
And the other thing that he said as well too is he built his business from no upline, which I thought it's also pretty cool. Like he had no one that invited him to this business. So that to me is also very cool, because part of my growth is actually building something that is not necessarily in my regular wheelhouse. And so I'm actually quite inspired by that he did that.
Awesome. Anybody else? Heather.
Well,
my mind is whirling. He really, he puts it all out there. It's a message that we have heard many, many times before. His enthusiasm is catching. His enthusiasm really drives home the point that's the key. And I really love the example that he gave about the guy who just kept phoning him back, say, "So are you ready to start? Are you ready to start now?" No question, he's going to start. Like, "Are you ready now? Are you ready now?" Like this. I really learned from that, because I can tend to say, "Well, what else can I send you? You need some more information on blah, 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 blah," and it's just now, I mean, I have the confidence now. I know that people are going to say yes if it's the right time, right? And why wouldn't they say yes? Of course they're going to say yes. They need what we have, and it's either the right time or it isn't, but they're going to say yes. And so it really it really cuts to the chase. And I just love the example that he gave.
Yeah, it's a good one. And again, the people that aren't going to come on board, they're not going to come on board. You're going to
No.
find the people that are going to come on board. And those are the people that you need to focus on. Those are the people that you want to build friendships with and build relationships with. We're not in the business of trying to pull people, right? So
No.
just remember that,
Well, he never said, "Don't call me." He said, "Well, I haven't had a chance to look at it," or, "Call me in 2 hours, call me next week," or whatever. "Okay, I'll call you. You ready now?" Like if they say, "No, I'm absolutely just not interested. Don't call me anymore." Okay,
Right.
fine. They don't want to play. And so there's lots of other people who do.
That's right. That's right. Anybody else before
I
we
got a
sign?
few actually the other day when I heard it, it was really good. And so I took a lot of notes, and today I was just going through again. And what I liked was the fact that he said, assuming right off the bat, "Are you ready to get started? What package have you decided on?" Like, you assume they want it, right? Unless, of course, they say, "No, I'm not interested," then you're done. But yeah, right. Sometimes we just give too much information. That's one. And then he says, consistency creates mastery. That's another thing. Enthusiasm comes from events, and you catching the fire. And this one, enthusiasm on fire is better than knowledge on ice. That was funny, right? Because too much knowledge and you just overwhelm them. And one of the things that he said also before, I wrote this down: if you want to be successful, have a vision of yourself, show up and act as your future best self. So you got to visualize in your mind, and we've heard this, before. But I think a lot of the stuff that he said, we've heard this over the years. It's just listening to it over and over and over again, and getting in our brain. At least I know, you know what I mean? So that was like a lot of the stuff. There's lots of nuggets that he has, right? One last thing: successful people do things that unsuccessful people don't. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks like a mile a minute. You go really, really fast.
Yes.
And that's why I liked having the recording so you can go back and
Yeah.
a
So
lot,
that's
a lot of
one
really
the
good nuggets for sure.
Lots of
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did I sent him a message on Instagram, and I guess he's got it protected, because you can only send one message, and then when he responds, then you'll be able to start a conversation, I guess, because you can't send more than one message at a time. So I sent him, I was on Wisdom Builder event, please send me your playbook. So I'll let you know. Did anybody else send him a message to get the playbook?
Which
Instagram?
platform did you use to send that?
On Instagram.
Instagram?
Was it MLM Nation or Simon Chan?
Just Simon Chan. I don't know if I have ML. Oh, let me see. Let me just see MLM. So I thought
Simon
it was
Chan.
following.
Yeah. It's a workbook, is it, Nana?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, we can message him on Simon Chan. That's what he says.
Yeah.
I really liked it when he said, although you haven't Although you haven't achieved the dreams you want, have faith it will happen. That really captures.
Say it again, when?
Although you haven't achieved the dreams you want, it will happen. Have faith, it will happen.
Faith, there's that
Faith.
faith word again. Yeah. Yeah. There's that faith word again. And again, I would really, really encourage to watch or to listen to the neuroscientist explains how to, oops, hang on. Just want to make sure I always have a hard time saying his name, Heather. Drew
Hurwitz.
Hurwitz.
P-U-R-O-W-I-T.
How to rewire the brain, right? To manifest. So I think it's so important, like, to rewire your brain, how to manifest your goals. And I love so far in the podcast, what I really enjoyed and appreciated was, you know how we when we write our goals, it's all about what we want. It's how you're creating that. It can't be just about you, right? It's that serving heart. And we hear that all the time from Alan, from Josh. It's what we can do for others. And if we have that serving heart, as we're writing our goals and change that mindset, we're going to attract more people to what we're doing, because people want to be a part of that good feeling of not the greediness, not just wanting things, right? So yeah, highly recommend. A very powerful podcast. So thank you so much for sharing that, Heather, because I was listening to so many other ones that I'd gotten away from that. And I think that's a very powerful one, especially with the timing right now with listening to Simon and having so many goals that we want to achieve.
What
in our-
podcast is that?
It's a Drew. I put it in the I think I texted it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I texted you, Tracy, because I
I
know
promise
you're not,
I'm going to be on
No, no,
Facebook
I don't
soon.
think
I'm gonna set
yeah,
that up.
no, because I know you're not on hang on, I'll
Okay, I've just put his name in the chat.
in the chat.
So
Yeah,
if you want to
I'll
copy that,
resend it to you. Yeah,
He
it's
only
such a
has a podcast,
Gonna
and it's the
heat up
Drew
the
Hurwitz
Mm.
podcast. The one on the neuroscientist, you can actually just do a Google search on Drew Hurwitz podcast and then say neuroscientist, something like that, or manifesting. It'll be I think it's the May 1st one.
yeah, May
But
1st, yeah.
you can watch it on, like, I listen to them as podcasts in the car, but you can actually go to the episodes and see the interview. I think it's on Facebook, or it's a website that you can go to, because they have play notes, they have show notes, and so there's links to some of the things they talk about, and things like that. It's one of my favorite podcasts. Very, very educational. All kinds of health topics, mental health topics, manifestations, everything.
And it is a free podcast, but they do have little ads. They do little ads for selling things, but that's okay. You just listen to that, and then the podcast.
He does that.
continues. 'Cause I
If
think
you
that's
listen to a
sponsor.
podcast, sometimes there's a 30-second fast forward. I just fast forward. It's about usually
Yeah.
1 minute. Fast forward 3 times and you
I
passed
think
it.
that's how they make their money. They get sponsored
Yeah.
by these other companies, right?
Yeah.
So, but at least, but the information is fantastic. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see some of you on. I just sent that link to you, Tracy, too, in case you didn't find it. So we will see you
Nada.
all on the other side. Thank you for all your input. Appreciate it, and thank you, Joan, for this amazing feedback for tonight.
Good one.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, thanks.
All right. Thank you.